What's up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. Look, there is a mayor, well, an ex-mayor by the name of Tim Boyd. He was the mayor of Colorado City, Texas, and he just resigned in the midst of a lot of backlash he received behind some statements that he made during this whole winter storm that's crushing Texas this week. Um, this guy came out and said that residents who are suffering through the winter storm and power outages were lazy and looking for handouts. He went on to say that no one owes you anything. He said no one owes you or your family anything. He said, nor is it the local government's responsibility to support you during times like this. He said, sink or swim. It's your choice. Those were his words. Now, here's the deal with that. A lot of people had an issue with that simply because this dude is the mayor. This dude was voted in and elected by the people. Um, like I said, small town, like 4,000 people in the town, but these people voted him in, and I can guarantee you that on the campaign trail, whatever campaign trail might have existed in a small town like that, um, he wasn't speaking like that before he got that position. And it's typical of these politicians who will basically say whatever it is they feel like they have to say or what they think you want to hear them say just to get in, only to break promises, only to snatch the mask off once they get in and reveal what they really think about the people. His comments were very dismissive. He said the power providers or any other services owe you nothing, and I'm sick and tired of people looking for a damn handout. These are all his words. This guy basically went on a rant to shoot people down who have been sitting up in cold houses, who have been without power for days in some cases, who have just literally been uh, struggling like crazy to maintain, and whose taxpayer money actually pays this guy's salary. So he had to sit down. He had to go on and shut it down in the midst of that. And it just shows how easy it is for anybody to get in these positions these days. We talk about how we wonder how some of these police officers become cops. It's like, man, how did this dude even become a cop? How did he even make it through the process of becoming a police officer? We have to ask those same questions with some of these public officials, some of these guys who are totally unqualified, and they end up getting in these spots. And he talked about how the power companies owe the people. They don't owe the people anything, but okay, well, these are the same people who pay light bills every month, the same people who pay gas bills every month. These are the people who are supplying millions and millions of dollars a month just on the monthly payment of their utilities. So for him to say that is disrespectful, dismissive, insensitive, privileged, and maybe his family, maybe him and his family were not caught up in the blackouts because of the position that he was in. And even if they were, you don't put that on anybody else. You don't put that on anybody else's family because you're talking about a state that had millions and millions of people without power. Now, man, I almost forgot the main one. This dude said, if you're without power and water, you need to sit down, think outside the box, and come up with a game plan to keep your family safe. Now, let me stop right there because everything I just said, that's the one part that I have to agree with him on. When he said that you need to come up with a game plan to keep your family safe. Now, the only twist that I will put on it from my personal angle is, yeah, that's true. But that game plan should be put together before these types of crises take place. So yeah, I agree with him in that regard, and I semi understand. Well, I won't say I understand because he's not coming from the same place that I'm coming from. But I'm taking his words and giving them different definition, putting different principle behind it. Yeah, these are things that we should be preparing for with our families, for ourselves. We should be making sure that before these types of calamities hit, that we have as much of the things we need in place to get through it as smoothly as we can, and to make it as less of an inconvenience as we possibly can. But that's not the place he's coming from, because he said those things that he said after the fact. He said those things after the fact. I don't agree when he says that no one owes you anything, because I just got through explaining all of the money that's paid out by these citizens. If that's the case, what is our money being? What is the significance of us paying out this money? Paying out the money to the public officials, paying out the money to the utility companies. There has to be an accountability. See, Texas sits on its own grid, and it's an independent grid, and we're in a state that doesn't get cold weather like that, so they're not really prepared for these types of extreme colds, and so basically Texas got caught with their drawers around their ankles. That's basically all that happened, you know. But all that being said, um, us as citizens still have to be a step ahead of the game to make sure that even if there are conditions that are not the norm in this state, we're understanding that we got to prepare for everything. We got to prepare for everything, because they will try to use that as an excuse to say, well, you know what, hey, well, this is unprecedented. We haven't had these kind of record cold temperatures, so we weren't ready for it and all that. But the truth be told, we live in a hurricane region where every year hurricane season comes around, and every so often one of those hurricanes hits our city, or they'll hit a different city in the south, and Houston, Texas in particular has been getting hurricanes forever and ever, and this city is still not prepared from an infrastructure standpoint to deal with something that we deal with every year. So, you know, we can't even let that be an excuse that, well, this is just something that Texas is not used to. Uh, they're the ones who are unprepared. They're the ones who seem to be lazy, and they're the ones who seem to be cheap, because they don't want to put the funding in that's necessary to possibly aid in making these types of weather catastrophes less impactful and less hurtful on the people. So Tim Boyd has resigned, and he came out with a statement that said that if he had it to do it all over again, he would have used better words, and he also said he would have been more descriptive. Well, you can't be more descriptive than calling people lazy and telling people who are suffering through blackouts and freezing cold weather and suffering in their homes that no one owes them nothing, and they need to think outside the box and all this crap. So, you know, you was pretty descriptive, Tim, but now you out of a job, and you deserve to be out of a job. And I will take your words as saying that we need to come up with a game plan to keep our own family safe. Yeah, that's the part I'll take, because based on how you think, and I'm sure how others like you think, you're absolutely right. If we don't do it, it ain't gonna get done. We all we got. So, all right, man, it's your big brother K-Rino. Y'all leave y'all comments below, man, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll hit y'all with another one real soon. And be safe out there, man. All right, peace.